What a great night for America. The demon's gone. The Lakers are gone. It's all over. They're done. They're cooked. They're out. They're spectators. I don't know if you watched it. Maybe you missed it. But, man, it was over early. What a glorious sporting event. There's a few nights that stand out that you just celebrate. Celebrate good times. And this would be one of them. Right? Now, I don't like to sing and, shovel dirt on people's graves, but na-na-na-na, na-na-na-na, hey, goodbye, LeBron James, mollywopped with the Lakers. Now, the final score was 113-100, but it was much, much worse than that. Anthony Davis, say it with me now, snap, crackle, pop, groin injury. He was cleared to play. And for some reason, somebody with the Lakers assumed that Anthony Davis had some, Iron Man in him. How'd that work out? He didn't even make it to the 6-minute mark. And there he was, limping away, wrapped in ice. He scored as many points, Anthony Davis, as you did and I did. A complete waste of space. I don't think I'm being too hard on him. I think that's reality. And how about Phoenix? Wake up the echoes. Holy thunder, Dan Marley. Phoenix putting on a basketball clinic. The Suns leading by as many as 29 points. They never trailed. Let me repeat that. The Suns led by as many as 29 points and never trailed against the almighty LeBron. Remember when LeBron bragged about his shoulders and how those shoulders were built for a reason? Hey, Devin Booker's pretty good. 47 points. And see, that's an efficient 47 points. Now, guys in Dallas were busting my balls because I pointed out Luka Doncic with a weak 42 points. He had 37 shots the other night against the Clippers. But Devin Booker, 22 shots to get to 47. That's how you do it. That's how you do it right there, Devin Booker. And watching the Suns, and I'm not a Suns fan, but I think everyone a little bit of a Suns fan over the last couple of weeks to beat the villains of basketball. But that was poetry in motion. That first half explosion for the Suns. Now, as is typically the case in this zip code where we hang out here, the better story is in the losing locker room and how the mighty have fallen. How the mighty have fallen. Let us discuss the question. Let's get right down to it here. We know what the story is. Don't bury the lead, my man. What does this loss against a Suns team that was an underdog? Remember that. Never forget that. The Lakers were the favorite. The Lakers were the favorite, the gambling favorite in this series. What does it say for LeBron James and his era with the Lakers? So I've got CompuBox, Computer Virus, and Cloudy. And we will tie all of these things together now, and we're going to make some Baba Ganoush. Now, listen, LeBron James, there's plenty of people in the media that will slobber all over LeBron, whatever he does. But the legend has lost its luster. His tenure with the Lakers, if you're objective here, is shaky at best. The bubble run, nobody takes that seriously, especially after what happened this year. What a fraudulent, the most fraudulent championship in NBA history. The bubble championship. Both the Heat and Lakers bounced out of the first round. Are you kidding me? Will Adam Silver grow a spine and put an asterisk next to that championship? Because that's a bullcrap championship. And when you do inventory, you realize LeBron has tarnished his legacy as playing for the Lakers here. He's Mr. Hollywood. He's all about that Hollywood action. If you look at the CompuBox punch stats, take a look. First year, LeBron suffered a major injury. The Lakers couldn't even make the playoffs his first year in LA. They were a lottery team. How embarrassing is that? So the second year, you throw it out because it's a Mickey Mouse ring, and judging by what happened this year, it verified our suspicions that it was bogus. The Lakers, that's nothing. That's 100 and something days off before the playoffs started. That's how they were able to get that done, and it's a bullcrap situation. Now, the third year here, LeBron suffers another major injury. Do you see a pattern here? And the Lakers bounced like a basketball in the first round. How embarrassing. I'd rather be in the lottery than lose in the first round like that, the way the Lakers did. Just gutless basketball by the once proud franchise. Now, the Lakers had a brief rally, and that made it even better. It made it even better. I'm going to tell you why it made it better. Because the never give up, never die historians actually thought that the Lakers were going to win the game. Down 29. The Suns were going to blow a 29-point lead. Are you joking? Are you kidding? I mean, how dumb are you? And then I was like, well, Adam Silver's going to call in a favor and that whole thing. But, boy, I mean, it is. Schadenfreude is a real deal. And I would argue that Schadenfreude is as enjoyable as anything else in life. Taking joy out of the misery of the Lakers it's just wonderful as a sports fan. Now, part B of this, LeBron James, let's call it like it is here. Not only does he have age problems, but LeBron did a very poor job of building this Laker roster. We know LeBron's actually the GM. He runs the show there. And he's got to look at the mirror on the wall. Because if you look at the key additions, they backfired, right? They backfired. Why don't we start with Montrezl Harrell? How'd that work out, right? Decorated player with the people's team, the Clippers, picked up for a song and a dance. NBA Twitter was orgasmic. Oh, my God, the rich get richer. How's that working out? I told you. You should have listened. Montrezl Harrell, sailing under false flags, he turned out to be a Trojan horse, a computer virus. I don't know whether or not he was planted by Jerry West or not, but what a disaster. The guy was buried in the most important games. He's such a liability defensively that he was demoted, Montrezl Harrell, to bench warmer. Boy, we've seen this act before. The reason the Clippers didn't want him back is he did the same thing against the Denver Nuggets in that Fugazi bubble. I see a pattern here. And then, to pour salt on the wound, unhappy with his role, I got the vibe that he was sulking as he sat there and watched this. And it's even more embarrassing because you have Anthony Davis, who's always hurt. The guy's fragile, as usual. And Montrezl Harrell, you figure if he was actually the real deal, he would have picked up the slack. But he's not. He's a fraud. And then you had Dennis Schroeder, who picked up on draft night, and another player was like, wow, this guy's great. They traded Danny Green away and a draft pick and a trade exception to get Schroeder. And while to the layman, Schroeder was statistically good in the regular season, he was clearly an unhappy camper. He never wanted to play in LA. He didn't want to play for the Lakers or the Clippers. And doesn't like the vibe. I mean, we've heard this for months that he didn't want to play for the Lakers. And he chose Thursday afternoon. How appropriate. Oh, this is great. This made it even better. Thursday afternoon, hours before an elimination game, and Dennis Schroeder decided to remove the Laker name. He was so embarrassed. Remove the Laker name from his Instagram profile, showing the cards right there, laying the cards on the table. He had one foot out the door, and now he's got the other foot out the door, and he'll go play for the Knicks or the Miami Heat, somewhere like that. The guy pitched a shutout in Game 5 of this series. Worst playoff performance by a Laker of all time. And that's impressive. That is impressive diarrhea is what that is. Now, the last word here. So now that a season has ended for the Lakers, how sweet it is. How sweet. The nectar of the gods. You look across the horizon, right? You look out in the horizon there, and you say, what does the future hold for the Lakers? So we're going to ask the Magic 8 Ball. Magic 8 Ball, all right? Will the Lakers be back as a heavyweight in 2022? And the Magic 8 Ball says, outlook not good. Outlook not good. Forecast calls for cloudy skies with a chance of meatballs. That's the future. LeBron is going to be 37 years old. You can't stop time. Next postseason. He's already slowing down. His legs are not there. What is the number one mantra in sports? Never let a falling star fall on you. He's losing it. He is. Jay Crowder shoved him around. Jay Crowder. Need I say more? LeBron suffering major injuries, as we pointed out earlier, 2 of the last 3 seasons. You also have to question his dedication to winning as a Laker. And let me tell you what I mean by that. LeBron has lost it. He has. He's changed. For years, LeBron James would brag about blocking out the outside world. He called it zero dark 30. He bragged about that. Very braggadocious. It was his annual tradition. You might remember his annual tradition where he tuned out all of the social media, right? All the outside noise, the distractions. Right? Not in 2021, though. What was LeBron doing before the play-in game with Golden State? He was out schmoozing with Drake and Michael B. Jordan, selling high-end tequila with a bunch of Hollywood phonies there, the unwashed, so the unwashed can buy that overpriced tequila. And what is the signature moment that I will remember from the Suns poleaxing the Lakers? It is with about half the time left on the clock in Game 5, LeBron James, the leader, leaving his teammates behind, walking to the locker room, giving up LeBron James. That is the snapshot moment. That's a great attitude. And now he's flushed away that 14-0 career record in the first round. My God. Michael Jordan never lost to the Suns in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Anthony Davis, how about that? Now, the Lakers are depending on him coming back. And I assure you that Anthony Davis will come back, and he'll be healthy at the start of the year. But he is as stable as a dandelion. That foundation with an old man James who's losing it and not dedicated to winning as much as he had been in the past, and a bad leader leaving the game early with halfway through the fourth quarter, half the time left there in Game 5, this foundation in Lakerland is built on a hill of marshmallows. There's no other way to say it. You can hear a lot of spin and a lot of excuses, and it's not his fault. It's this guy's fault. And, yeah. How about Frank Vogel? This is where you actually had to coach. All right, Frank Vogel. Yeah. He's just there. He's a figurehead, as we imagined. Yeah, you can put anybody in there. It's a big deal. And listen, the Lakers are going to add players, and they'll redecorate. All right, but the old bones are still right there in the center. Undependable, right? It's kind of like the Lakers with LeBron at age 37 by next postseason, and with Anthony Davis. I mean, the guy's got the body of a player in his 60s, even though he's supposedly in his prime. That is as undependable as driving around on a tire that's got just a small leak, like you ran over a nail, and you don't really see the air coming out. You think it's not that big a deal, but keep driving on it, and we know what happens. It's not good. It's not good. But congratulations to the Phoenix Suns. What a great night for the NBA. LeBron is done. It's over for LeBron James. How glorious, how wonderful. All is right in the world.